It seems like I think I'll be able to respond. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we're recording this for the PD, just to give you guys a heads up. So it's gonna go on YouTube, so everybody knows, it's gonna be out there for everyone to see.
So we're not allowed to cuss, is that what you're saying?
All right. That's not the intent. All right. So the way this is kind of gonna go today is, you guys know how to share screen?
No, you were down at the bottom, yeah. Oh.
It's literally nobody's on the other end of this. I'm just recording it for YouTube for Colonel Kramer. And
But do you want this one to be on there, then you
Yeah.
share screen?
How do I do that?
Go back to Zoom, yeah. And then right there, share screen.
Yep.
Then click on that one.
Nailed it.
All right, thank you. All right, so got a lot of questions, right? What's valued at the group? What's valued at the wing? And that's what this is. That's the why today. That's why we're here. So this is the group awards reference sheet that is used at the OG. And we'll just kind of we're going to go over it and kind of break it down. Then if people did their homework, your stuff's already graded. And then if not, that's fine. You can sit down and grade it. So you got 5 packages here today, and there's how many bullets? 5 or 6? 5. So 5. So you should be able to grade these in like 25 minutes, right? 5 minutes a package, right? Kind of read it. Okay, where do I think this is at? Boom, grade it, and then stack up your 1 through 5. That's the goal. And then we're all going to sit down and have a discussion, like, who's your 1 through 5? Who's your 1 through 5? Who's your 1 through 5, right? And it that's how it goes at the group, and that's how it goes at the wing, right? Because what me and Sergeant Willem, I might be like, I like this because of this, right? He may be like, I like this because of that, right? But generally, it's what the Air Force likes and what the Air Force is valuing and promoting for its people, right? Which is what this sheet kind of captures. Does anybody have any questions how this is kind of going to flow out? Sick. All right, so membership level, right? I'm not going to read these slides to you or these bullets to you, but it kind of gives you, this is what I would say when you read some of these awards or when you're writing your awards, it's like you did your job, right? You did your job, right? So when I equate this to like writing bullets for people in the 22nd, and this is not, so here's another thing. This is an award, it's not an EPR, right? So you get an award for going above and beyond, right? So don't take what I'm saying like disparagingly when I say like you did your job, right? Like a flight engineer processing an emergency or a reject, right? Or going on a mission is me doing my job. A loadmaster uploading Apaches in a helicopter, right? While it may be more difficult upload is, you know what I mean? And obviously there's variances of that, but it's like when I say you do your job, that's what I mean. It's like that's what you're paid to do. And an award is like you're trying to show like you're standing out amongst the other people flying, doing office work, things like that. So membership level, right? So job performance and primaries duties. So help, assist, participate, support, standard day-to-day stuff, right? Flew a mission to Afghanistan, dropped off some helicopters, that kind of stuff, right? It's award worthy level impact. What's up?
Question. So this is a group grading sheet,
This is a group.
but then these are wing.
Yeah, this is just a basis.
Is there's no wing?
There's no wing, right? But this is just to cage you, and to cage where you're thinking, right? Because it's what it breaks down to is membership, supervisory, management, and leadership. So membership level, right? So you kind of did your job, followership and leadership, short educational training opportunities. So CLEPS, small certification, right? Maybe an AFRC, you go over to the AFRC for a 4-hour class, something along those lines, right? Like you're doing more than somebody else, but it's not a huge, think about it almost like time commitment, right? And then whole airman concept bullets, help assisted, participated, right? Set up tables at a banquet, you ran a booth, wash some cars. And this is open for debate, right, or discussion. So if any time, just speak out.
So I get like what they're saying with all the different levels, but then when you execute it, like, so I'm reading this first one, this fuels guy. He crushed his senior NCO position for 2 months, led some airmen, and then basically what they did on a daily basis. But it's like, he didn't do anything different.
That's how you grade it.
I mean, the level and the level of responsibility is big, but his impact is small.
So that was my question when grading these, is that they'll have supervisory or management level start, action, and then the impact is more
So then that's,
membership level. So like that was my issue when I was reading a lot of these.
Bring it back.
Yeah, like the writer did not keep it at that level, which then hindered the grading.
sure, right? And that's where you talk about like flowery language, right? It's like managed, led, right? And then you start reading into the bullet and you're like, didn't really, right? You're this, right? That's the conversation we have a lot of times about like, you know, somebody may have, they're not very good at writing and you can see that and you're like, wait, what'd you do? And you're like, oh man, you did way more than what this bullet captures, versus, you know, maybe somebody who's good at writing and they just sit back there and they just write all day long. So they can take, exchange 400 pounds of carbon dioxide into, O2, right? And you're like, you just wrote a bullet for breathing air. Is that what you just wrote? Like you wrote a breathing air bullet, like somebody could do that. So that's where it's a skill, it's a learned skill. So you're going to have to decipher these, see what you think. But anyway, and then so supervisory level, tactical, operational in nature, right? You start getting into the, you instruct, you supervise, you lead, mentor, squadron level awards. You're supervising small teams, small programs, improve task level procedures, processes, instructing duties within primary AFSC, overcome operational issues for mission accomplishment, squadron level impact, right? So maybe you loaded 6 Apaches, right? And it's like the C5 can put on 6 Apaches, right? But do we do it a lot of times? No, we don't, right? Or 53s, you don't do it a lot of times. So you're like, that's a big freaking deal that we just loaded 2 53s on this spread. Or, an engineer, some crazy emergency that a flight engineer has to, when we're weather diverting and we're running spec range chart, right? We don't do it every day. So you're kind of overcoming obstacles and adversity still within your AFSC. Or instructing, right? That's always good. Followership leadership. So college classes, longer Air Force courses, whole airman concept, subcommittees, organized fundraiser, car wash, right? They're supervising, they're taking charge, right? So instead of like, being part of, let's just use the Halloween fest at the squadron, right? Instead of being part of the Halloween fest, like you set up the tent or the chairs, right? Like you're managing the setup tear down team, right? That kind of stuff. So just think about like going from being like, where do I show up? Where do I sign up? Okay, I'll be there, to like, I have to get these people, to I'm running the whole event, right? As you ascend to the leadership level. Management level, supervise, lead large, multiple teams, manage, improve large programs, large impact, instructing duties beyond primary AFSC, wing level impact, followership leadership, long range Air Force in residence courses, PME, DG, CCAF degree, full airman concept, lead several subcommittees, lead honor guard detail, POC for a group event, coordinate multiple teams. So you can just kind of see what you're doing, right? You're going from showing up and doing something to now your scope is increasing, your time for career development is increasing, like everything's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Finally, the leadership level, operational, strategic in nature, performance normally expected from a leader. Coordinate, organize, direct, right? So don't bite on these verbs, right? Because I can say led, one person and organized a broom closet, right? So don't bite off on just because it says organized or directed does not mean it's a leadership level bullet, right? You got to dig into what the bullet's talking about. Wing command level recognition awards, supervises large teams, extraordinary impact, performance above and beyond, right? So very few bullets are going to be 1.0, right? Or this is just like the OGs level. I've seen it done before, 6 to 10, right? Which is exactly how the Air Force grades senior tech school and master and up, right? It's all 6 to 10. So just think of this as 10 and think of the membership level, right, as a 6 or a 7, right? So try not to get wrapped around the axle on this stuff. If you've got a method that works for you, you don't even have to do the 0 to 1 point. Maybe you're a 0, 1, 2, 3 guy. Maybe you're a 6 to 10 guy. As long as you have your grading scale and you grade everyone equitably, then keep that grading scale. I'm not saying, they're a 0.2. Maybe for you, it's like, I'll give that bullet a 7, right? And I'm going to give that one an 8, and I'm going to give that one a 10. So just make it work for you in your head. Because I'll be honest, I don't use the 0 to 1, right? I do a 0, 1, 2, 3, and it works for me. So, but if you don't have something, try this or try a few different things, whatever is the easiest for you. Followership leadership for the, we're down here. Followership leadership, higher level education, long in residence courses, Levito at PME, academic achievements, commandants, earning that bachelor's degree, right? So like you graduated with your bachelor's degree as opposed to up here, right, where you're taking long courses, college classes, that kind of stuff. So it's kind of like a culmination. So timing has a little bit to do with it. And then whole airman concept, elected leader, right? Organize, direct, plan, supervise vast personnel. Now you're starting getting into like, you're the booster club president, right? You're the 5-6 president. You're in AFSA. You're in whatever, right? It's no longer like you do your event, you're one and done, you're gone. It's like you're in that position all year. Everything that has to do with booster club in the 22nd, the commander's coming to you for, right? It's an additional duty. You don't have to do it, but it's a leadership level bullet, if you will. Directed numerous subcommittees, organized base level event for wing commander, etc. Right? So this is obviously going for the OG. But you can minimize it down to the squadron level. So you can say, organized squadron level event for squadron commander. So, the summer flings coming up at Hammers Pond, right? If you have a staff sergeant or somebody doing that, right? That's a big event. It takes a lot of coordination. So that's where somebody stepping up for a leadership level bullet, as opposed to like, hey, I need you to get drinks for the event at Hammers Pond, right? Like different levels of responsibility. All right. So that's a quick rundown of how the OG does it. And now here's the award. So I just put NCO 1, NCO 2, NCO 3, right? There's acronyms in there, which is fun. See how reading stuff from other people's stuff, how acronyms don't make sense. Yeah.
That's how rich.
So right now it's 122. So we got a 1400 commanders call. So I would just say, right, get you system down, grade them, rack them, stack them. let's plan on 1:40-ish, right? 17 minutes. You guys can bang through these and get your order of merit.
Let's see if I've got in here. One.
Yeah, with the low master lady, you get mine.
In what? In your eyes?
I said mine, the low master lady, you
Oh,
I thought
one
it was-
dog.
Oh,
I
I
thought
see.
he was second. My initial. For which one?
The number NCO. Wait, no, NCO 5.
Okay, so at the group, right, you come in, everybody brings in their rack and stacks, right? And we kind of go around and you basically say, all right, who's number one, right? And obviously, you know that when you go for boards, you talk about splits, right? So if it's more than 1.5 difference on the promotion boards, you kind of argue the split. So you could say along those lines, right? So Mondo and Moline had NCO 5 as number 4, and then right, and then like you got Raina, Hubble, Vaughn, putting them number one. So like, you would just say like, Mondo, why did you rate NCO 5 as number 4?
I guess maybe it was knowing, doing all these duties, and it's kind of like, I don't know, I just didn't see them as.
NCO 5
Oh,
was
that-
already.
Yeah.
Yeah, and normally you don't grade your own people.
I graded them, I graded that one as average, even though it came out because my numbers weren't that far apart.
Yeah,
But again, I did give like the one where he's a section chief, I gave it a little bit higher of a number because that, to me, that bullet, again, but again, knowing that position, I don't know how to even explain that.
How'd you go down your list and,
But-
tell us what your numbers are for like each bullet, just for an idea.
I went 6, 6, 4, 6, 6.
So the third one.
So on the third bullet, the 4, to me, it's like, yeah, you did your job on that one.
so are you doing a 1 to
I don't
10?
care.
Are you doing,
No, I-
you're doing
I
the
point.
point, okay, 0.6?
So yeah, point, that's what, sorry, 0.6, 0.6, 0.4, point. So yeah, that 29 through, I mean, it's a cargo load. Like, I know what that is, you know what I mean? I guess maybe that's why I didn't rate that one as high.
Is it-
I wrote them in.
And we really spruced that one up,
And
right?
it's
Because it
like-
was originally kind of like,
I did the same thing. I rated them in the same category, So I did a 0.6, just because he led the 29 people, what he did, like the information in there. So I rated it within the same category, but just.
But I mean, it's
point
kind of
higher.
like what Senior said about that word, don't let that word catch you, because to me, when you're out there, I know what it's like when you're one of 29 people, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's not necessarily one person kind of.
See, and that, I mean, that's
And
us
it's-
knowing this
well,
bullet
yeah,
sort of hinders.
That's what
us.
I'm.
Put your own
yeah,
bias
that's-
on it.
Yeah, so like,
That did a lot for me, that was the problem with that one, I think.
But I still think it's a supervisory bullet. You know, it's not a management level, but I still think it's in that same range.
I give it a
Well,
0.5.
I got a pair of point
I
five.
did.
I got a 0.5 on that one. Like, you did your job, but you let
0.6.
people doing your job, but it wasn't like extraordinary.
That's why I gave it a 0.4. It's still in that 0.4 to 0.6
Yeah.
I
kind
like
of,
29 just
to
sort of.
me, it's the lower part. of the
Larger.
spectrum.
I try to take my bias out of it a little bit too and look at it from somebody else's eyes.
And so we'll use another example. So go down to the last bullet performance. So for me, like a 0.9 collaborated with headquarters, FM and UAV. I gave that a 0.9 because you're coordinating with headquarters. You know, you're doing something outside that
What
typically.
got me on that bullet was awarded the 2-year contract. It's kind of like, really, at that level, like, you're not.
No, we're talking about two different goals.
Yeah, we're talking about.
So the one up here, this one, collaborated with higher headquarters.
so here's the other thing with that. Is that really a whole airman concept bullet?
No, that's how I graded it.
Yeah.
That one,
Not
I
even
graded it
close.
lower.
It's not even close to being what the Air Force sees as a whole airman concept bullet, right? It's a great bullet, like huge impact
Yeah, I
on that
graded it
bullet.
lower because of.
It is not a whole airman concept bullet.
They should have took that last one and moved that one down and put this one up in the performance.
But I saw.
He
that-
doesn't have a whole airman. To me, he doesn't have a whole
Airman
airman bullet in here.
concept one, yeah.
That's the only reason he got graded lower is because of.
All right, so let's not spend too much time on it. So you guys had NCO number 1 as number 2. And guess who won at the wing?
Number one.
NCO number 1. Won at the wing. So Vaughn is way off. We need to QC him. Kurt also.
That
You need to check
package
his
sucks. I'll grade it again. I'll read it again. It still sucks.
Yeah, they're number 2, so I wasn't that far off.
Yeah.
The only thing that was impressive on that one was the whole airman concept, earning that cert in 15 hours.
No. Which one are you talking about? NCO one.
NCO one shit.
Not your number one.
Sorry, nope.
But again, what impressed me on that one, like I said, that flight chief, like nobody, if you're gonna pick somebody to like take the RM spot around here, you're not gonna pick somebody that's not highly
Yeah.
rated.
But there's a lot of those, right? So this guy had a
And-
crush senior NCO position, right, which is kind of saying the same thing. And then there's another one, crush section funny, they use the same bullet. they're
So
the same-
fly chief awards.
I'd probably
grade
all the bolsters.
Chief Master of the Air Force number
I know,
one,
it's
5-6
good.
chair.
Sculpted.
Way to get those bolsters.
Like
Yeah.
every bullet has
That's
an
why
award
they're
with the exception of one.
I loaded that third bullet down, instituted the group resiliency training, that's.
But they didn't do
Nothing.
anything.
Yeah, no, that's why I had them rated
Yeah.
low.
So that one's a
Low.
0.5 to me, like, right, they still did something,
I gave it a point
but
five
it's
as
like
well.
your
I
job,
was
right,
fucking-
like, as an
But
NCO.
Yeah.
I gave it a
I
point
gave- I
five.
was fine too.
He came in number 2 for me, but most of his
What you
bullets,
get, what you give him for the whole Emerald concept one?
a 0.4 on that
Point
one.
six.
0.8.
0.7.
I didn't. It's like they did one event, it's not, yeah, to me, it's like, okay.
Well, to me, I
Well,
don't.
they coordinated 10
10
public
Yeah,
speakers.
it's a lot, man.
The thing is,
Yeah,
they
but to
don't
me,
know
I don't
how.
put- I don't put it-
they-
Did you-
Who heard about this? How, what are they talking about?
Yeah, but my
They
point is,
coordinated
like, I don't have
10
time to do that. Not
I
everybody
guess,
has time to do that. So,
Too bad.
because.
Make time.
I get what they
Well,
rated,
that's
but
high value,
No, I-
value you're working
I
on.
don't agree with it.
To me, that.
What are they valuing up there?
Okay, so we could argue these two, right? So NCO 1
No.
versus NCO 4, those are pretty close. So let's see here. Ooh, so Willem, you had them, Willem and Hubble, why did you grade NCO 4 so low? Or not so low, but why did you put them as 4 when they were pretty close,
Oh,
right?
they were, yeah, so they were pretty close. The other one, he is my number 4 because by 1 point.
Okay.
The first bullet, the wing planner for 6 members, civilian, COVID-19, advice, general, blah, 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 1 AMC safety office of the court. That, to me, it just sounds like, all right, you're doing your job really good. I mean, nothing spectacular there. That, yeah, you won the award, but
But yeah, because if you look at it, he's the NCIC of risk management at the wing. So when you win, oh, you won the AMC Safety Office of the Year. Never mind. So yeah, so it's like, dude,
But the
that's,
fact that he's a wing planner, that's like,
so you're,
yeah.
yeah.
you're
I rated that one pretty low. so.
Yeah, so I'll give it a 3. So that's what brings, like, the rest of the package is pretty like solid, like the 5s and 6 and the rest of the package they have, but that brought it down a lot compared to the other guys that were more rounded, that put above them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Because the first 3 were all what they do, safety, right? So they're all just doing safety stuff.
Yeah.
So they're just doing their job.
Nothing extraordinary, like.
Even that top one?
Up a year.
I rated that one. I give it a low.
Yeah, I
score.
rated that one really high.
But what did they do? Wing planner for 6 members, right? So they're, kind of in charge of 6 members for a COVID-19 team. Advise 5 squadron commanders, okay, that's what they're required to do. Generate 4 critical operations for mission case. And then 1 more.
What do you think about the third bullet down?
a year.
The directed safety study?
I gave it 0.7 because it's,
Yeah.
I know what goes into like a
Okay.
good development
0.7.
study.
Right, adopted by 3 wings,
Yeah.
like that's pretty
I want to
big.
rate it really high.
Give that a 0.8.
So, and also too, for the whole Emerald concept, it's a good bullet, however, it falls into the,
Like part of the problem. with being
0.5
around-
scenario for me.
Being around for a while, we have an idea of what it takes to do these level
Yeah.
things, and so our bias start to creep in.
Yeah.
And into the bullet.
But that's
What were you
like
saying
doing
about
one
the whole
PD is
Ramen
like,
Hubble?
okay,
The whole
so
Emerald
what, who
concept,
cares?
it's,
I hate that people.
he completed his, what is it? His,
Certified Safety Health Official.
thank you, yeah, safety health and official, first 15 hours, for his bachelor's
That's huge.
of science, management, blah, blah, blah. So he got the certification, which is great, but it doesn't tell me what he did with it and having a good,
Bingo.
Well, I mean, part of that too is like, I think they're trying to fit so much,
That's saying a lot.
the part of that, they're trying to fit all the
Yeah,
information, so you not even get a cert, he took 3 classes, he took essentially 5 classes.
5 classes. in a
5
quarter.
classes, and he's on the dean, so he's got, in the quarters, he got a certification, 5 classes, and he's still on the dean's list, while managing to do all the other stuff that he did within the thing.
How'd you guys grade NCO2's
Yeah, I had that presented.
whole airman concept bullet?
8.
0.7.
0.7.
0.8.
Oh, man, I'll give it a 0.3.
NCO2?
That's a
Why?
fantastic bullet.
Why?
To me, again, the 5 and 6 thing, I don't care about that. I don't care about that.
It blended two different things.
Did you give it more?
So that's a.
So what about the two BS courses?
That's my favorite thing to throw in the bullet.
Good. Well,
I mean,
yes.
again, that's my thought on school too. Like, when it comes to online school, I think of it different as in sit-down school. I'm assuming it's online school.
Okay.
And I don't know.
Based on what?
Assume that though.
I don't know, but
That's the hard part when it comes to this, is you have to trust what other people are writing is factual, right? Like, I know that, right? But like, if you walk into a room with somebody from the 21st, I can't be like, you're lying to me, right? Could you imagine that? It's not, you can't, so you have to trust that whatever they say, right? And it doesn't stipulate whether it's online or in residence.
Call is now at 14:15, delay 15 minutes, 14:15. Thanks.
Okay, yep, so, yeah, so this person won, the medical technician, they won,
Yeah, that's, I mean, it's.
okay, so let's talk about
It was the-
NCO 3. Let's talk about NCO 3. Because they came in last. Sergeant Lee, what did you not, well, let's see where you graded NCO 3 first.
As number 5.
Okay, perfect. What did you not like about this package?
It was mostly just doing their jobs. So there was, to me at least, oh yeah, okay, you led 8 personnel, but then they expedited all these things, which I feel is just job. Managed 5 ration movements, built pallets, that seems just like a job. There's nothing that really jumped out except the whole airman concept was the one that really jumped out at.
Yeah, I think, and everybody kind of sees that, right? So when you're writing these awards, right, like even the bullet, you know, that's K-Rob was our 4th quarter guy. His flying bullet, like you can read into it, right? Which is why we were just like, how do we make this seem different? You know what I mean? So instead of, right? So instead of like, delivered, blah, 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 8 million pounds of cargo, you know, supported command commanders, intent, right? That's the generic flying bullet. We're like, how do you make flying bullets different? How do you make the 22nd competitive? How do you make your team competitive? How do you make your tech sergeant going to master stand out at the board, right?
and I didn't like the end of that, but even just the actualized number 4 Air Force priority.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, right? But take this bullet and what we turned that into, what it was, right? It was like you flew, you delivered, you went to CENTCOM. Like that's what it was, right? And so like not knowing what that is, right? You're like, dude, they're doing stuff with the USAID. They took PA, humanitarian relief, civilians, and then a little fluff at the end, right? Number 4 priority. Versus, right, expedited MICAPs, his service has cargo, right? AMC logistical dominance, like, you know what I mean? Like, so just think about that when you're writing your bullet, and the did your job bullets is kind of like, if there's not a ton there, then how do you make them stand out a little bit, right? For your people, if you're putting your people in for awards, how do you make them not just a did your job, yep, got it, did your job, right?
But that's my problem with that, so making them, because every time they get sent back to us, kind of like, again, the last bullet, or like you say, oh, the last part of the bullet it's not impactful.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like, we don't get from our subordinates enough information. I'm not gonna be making information stuff up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And because like that, you just say, you change the wording, it goes back to, now, is this person really doing this great of a job? Or are we just fluffing it up to where now we're fighting for him to get a rating or her to get a rating because the bullet sounds good, even though we probably receive nothing from them and most of it is just stuff we make up.
I think it's a mixture, right? It's a mixture of both, right? Because you could put ran checklist, showed up to jet, right? Like whatever. Like you could make it that bland, or you do something along, you know, these
And
lines.
most people are that blind when it comes to
Yeah.
their performance.
Yeah. Right. And I don't want to get like awards and EPRs. Like, let's stick to awards, right? And awards are unfortunately like, if you want somebody to be competitive at the group, your writing has to get creative, right? You cannot just say delivered 3 million pounds of cargo, 8,000 civilians, overcame cabin press low, right? Saved 13 crew members, $380 million aircraft, right? Like that's like doing your job, because if you look at this, right, that's how you guys read, that's how all y'all read that stuff. So that's how other people are reading those things as well, right? There's senior NCOs and other squadrons that are like, yeah, they flew, got it, flew. So that's the only point I'm trying to make is that. So this was the lowest, right? So you guys kind of hit it on the head, like did your job. All right, what's the second lowest? NCO 2.
Do you have the rack and stack for them?
I do not know what the wing. I have mine, but I don't have what the wings.
Oh, were you on the board?
I sent the chief just my ratings. So
Wait, did you rate that MedTech number 1?
I rated her number 2. I rated this package number 1 actually.
For NCO what? NCO 2?
Yeah, I rated NCO 2 my number 1.
The medical technician, all that.
Yeah. Yeah. Right, and you can kind of see what different people value, right? There is no, like, even when we go to the group, like where everybody's kind of a little bit around, right?
Yeah, mine's number 1, number 2, or 0.2 difference.
Yeah, it's extremely difficult when you get to that level, even at the squadron level, when you have super good airmen, NCOs, senior NCOs, and everybody's crushing it, right? Everybody's doing good, right? Because if they weren't doing good, then they wouldn't be getting put in for awards. And then it's like, yeah, 0.2 difference, right? It's tough. Right, so this person, right, senior NCO position, 2 months, right, as I think they were a staff or a tech, you know, 17 airmen, that kind of stuff, cool. So let's see, who graded this person low? Bubble again, ruthless.
You look at 2.
Oh, what, sorry. Mondo, Reina, what did you see on this you didn't like?
Let's see, first senior NCO position for 2 months. I mean, that's not bad. With 17 airmen. And then recoup 3 million flying, what was that page?
Fly-hour program.
To me, it was okay. Let's see, then managed fiscal year 20 DLA closeout, reconciled 20 fuel accounts, 220K transactions, guaranteed audit compliance. I mean, I guess I was neutral on that one too. And then, let's see, exercise Ganesio, 22 members through 8 TPT, task qualification training, and NASA rodeo. That bullet, I mean, wings at ES roll, kind of has like a wing thing.
It was a wing exercise.
Wing inspection team, WIT, right? So they're standing out above their peers for being selected to WIT. I don't know. I mean, that kind of raises high because it's like, again, that personal thing where it's like, if you're going to be put on the WIT, you're not normally not a SME, right? In what you're doing.
That's a wing.
Yeah,
That's a
but
wing
you're only
thing.
coaching your squadron members, that's why they feel like that.
And then, he elected as 5'6" sergeant at arms. I mean, that was kind of cool, but the structure of the bullet just seemed kind of weird. It was a 2-part bullet, which led to the fit to fight, earn 7 credit hours. I don't know.
Yeah,
It was just kind of oddly structured, and I just didn't like it. So,
Okay.
That's what caused mine to go down to number 5 was that low rating I gave that bullet.
Okay.
The last bullet?
Yeah.
So-
I never seen.
It's also what the wing values, not what you value, kind of thing too. So you
But I've
got-
never seen that format before, 2 bullets in one, just turn, mix and.
That's what I said, like,
It threw me off.
Yeah.
That's the thing, I think that.
This is all the time. How much stay at Dover?
It's
Three or four
tough.
bullets in one.
I've talked to multiple people about 2-part bullets. They are tough to write, right? You can't just like, I'm just gonna jam 10 pounds of, shit into a 2-pound sock. Like, you gotta really think about it and get it right, or you just like blast it in. Why'd you grade this one so low, SB?
So I thought his first bullet was really good. His last bullet on the performance was really good, and his whole airman concept was pretty decent. It kind of threw me off, so I gave it a little bit lower rating. The only reason I didn't rate his first bullet as high is, I don't know, the impact just didn't seem like it. To me, that was like an impact I see like in a staff sergeant or like, a senior airman CPR.
The
It
top
reads-
bullet?
Yeah, to me,
Yeah,
it reads
like-
like you didn't
So
burn.
like it started off really strong, and then it just kind of like tapers off, like kind of like disappears. So that one, I still rated it high, gave it a 0.7, but the impact really didn't do it for me on that one. And the second one, that to me is just straight up, that's like a duty that he has in the office. The only one I'd say I'm kind of off basis on is the wit, but then that's just probably from experience because I did a lot of wit back at DM, so I was like, oh, he just did his job. But then, like you said, it's wing level. He's a shmee, so I probably should have rated that one a little higher. Still gave it a 0.5, but I'd probably, looking at it again, I'd probably give it like a 0.7, 0.8. And then the first sergeant stuff was really good.
What did you have to say about wit, Charlie? You disagree
I
with
just
that?
don't like that. Like, okay, yes, I know they're a WIT member, but you're just coaching your squadron members. You're not really doing anything at the wing. That's just how I read it.
Sure.
I mean,
And that's why I didn't really grade that one as.
Yeah, that was my.
Because
lowest
the
bullet.
middle part of it, it does read like that, right? Like he was just in the squadron
Yeah,
teaching like normal OJT.
that's how I.
And then the impact again is generic and weak.
This is
Yeah.
where I was saying, it looks like it's sort of more of a, wing level start, but membership level.
Yeah, that's a good
Action.
breakdown.
And then that's where it gets a little complicated with scoring. It's like, if you're following this, okay, I grade this part of the bullet as a 0.6 and the other half a 0.4, okay, I guess we give it a 0.5 type thing.
That shine is temporary for sergeant, do we agree that it's like doo-doo, shine?
Right, so you see like the flower and
Bright like a
language.
diamond, is that better?
Yeah.
I was wondering because he's going to use that bullet.
Not-
Yeah.
We don't like that, right, guys?
What do you think is better? Hold on.
Yeah.
I couldn't make this work.
All right, so did we say why everybody, so it's a pretty good consensus. I mean, we all love ops, which is good. So that's awesome, except for Moline and Mondo. They freaking. Mike, what do you think? You haven't said much. What do you think about kind of like the leadership, membership, versus like ownership, leadership kind of stuff? Do you see how that's working?
Yeah, I mean, you have like a specific one, or you're just saying in general?
No, like what's some of your takeaways from this?
Who'd you have rated the highest?
I had NCO2 rated number 1.
Oh, man.
Would,
I slid him a 5. All right, so why did you why did you like NCO2?
I just thought, I mean, I was reading these things and like I was getting stressed out with this guy who was going on. I just feel like he was doing a lot. He's doing this 5-6 thing. He's in college. He's in a senior NCO position, and he's doing first shirt. He's like somebody that obviously doesn't say no, right? He says yes to everything.
Mhm.
So he's like involved in all these things.
Is that the senior NCO position he was in, was for sure? And he combined 2 bullets together to make them.
no,
No.
no.
I don't think so.
You don't think so, you don't know.
So,
Paranoia
over here.
Mondo's reading into every bullet and he's just grading the sun. He's like, yeah, I think this is the
I'm
same.
on
So I'm only gonna give him half credit for
I made
that.
up so much stuff in my. I know stuff gets moved out.
And then Okay, you had NCO number 1 as number 2. So what kind of separated your NCO 2 and your NCO 1? What separated your 1 and 2 there?
I mean, I like them both, but I just ended up rating the bullets slightly higher on number 1, so it was like close, but.
Okay.
With, NCO 2 was my first pick,
Okay.
but I did have them close.
All right.
I have a quick question for everybody. Which one of all these bullets was your lowest bullet? Lowest rated bullet?
I know I got a point three.
Yeah, I got the point threes right here.
Yeah, I got,
The
I
ACOG
got-
dude.
Yeah, I got the special handling dude, his first bullet, the lead 8 personnel expert, the mic cap.
yeah,
I still see that as supervisory, but the ones that like the putting pals together and stuff like that, I had that like membership level.
mhm.
The NCO,
NCO number 3.
Yeah, he's got a lot of weak bullets. Like his,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
his
yeah.
2 middle ones are pretty weak.
And then is the Levito, is that ALS or is that NCOA?
That's it, all of them. Oh, yeah, all of them.
No, I know what you're saying. Did he
Oh,
win it as a
oh.
senior airman or did he?
No, yeah, well, that's what I mean, like it just says garnered John L. Levito Award, demo superior skill, graduate PME, like.
It would have had to been at ALS because I think this person was a staff sergeant.
That's kind of what I thought, and I rated it as such, and then I was like, I went back and I was like, oh wait, it doesn't say if it's a NCOA. And I don't know what this person's rank is, yeah.
Yeah, that one's just full of point 3, point 4, point 5.
Yeah, I would have rated that bullet differently if I would have known that was the ALS versus the NCOA.
What was the highest? What'd you have for your highest couple?
my highest, I had a
Highest bullet.
NCO number 5. That was, my highest one was the number 1 bullet, the wing POC for the ER, because it shows interagency activity, it shows a lot of money that it's being managed, and then it shows innovation, which is what one of the Air Force priorities was last year, and which is still being pushed by the new hierarchy, but yeah.
That first one?
Would you have your highest, Mondo?
The Levito person, just because I know kind of like that's what people, or that's what the Air Force values, like you said, it's what the Air Force values, and you say somebody won the Levito award, that was my.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the grading sheet too, it's like, it's
That was
down there,
mine.
whole Emerald concept.
That was my highest rated
Oh,
bullet.
wait, no, sorry, leadership, scholarship, PME, Levito Award.
Willem, you got your highest?
I have actually a couple ones. Levito was one of the number ones,
Yeah, that's my second.
and I kind of averaged it out. I really didn't get too many of the point, like the point threes. Mine were tend to be, a lot of them were supervisor level, they did a lot of supervisory stuff. Maybe a couple, I don't think any group, any point ones or point twos or point threes. If you're doing any of the, if you did put it for award, I think they're all, should be supervisory. for the most part.
They're all
Why would you think
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was different as from NCOA to, or to ALS?
Because it's bigger scope, more people, harder curriculum, harder, your peers usually stand out amongst them. So it's like, they're usually higher performers, right? And, you know, a larger group, NCOA is a bigger class than ALS class.
Yeah, but however, like, well, the way I see it, again, shit, I always look at shit from a different point of view. But like, when I was at NCOA, nobody really wanted to be like the classroom leader and all of this, because nobody, I think people go there thinking different things, doesn't necessarily make you a different person. Like me, I don't go in there thinking about winning awards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I care less. The person that ended up being our class leader, she ended up getting the Levito. We had a very strong class with people that weren't interested in being class leaders.
Well, Mondo, with the
But-
numbers alone, just by the sheer numbers statistically, you are less likely to, anybody's less
I
likely to
think
get it.
a leader is a leader regardless of what level it's at.
I agree, but when you talk about scope, right, your scope is bigger, right? And you're all leaders at that point. When you're talking about ALS, most folks, I don't want to say, single anybody out, but most folks are in a membership level where they're just doing what they're told, so they don't have any leadership. So now you're taking a group of let's say for the most part, assumed leaders in NCOA. And
Assume,
yeah, I know.
Because
Right?
of
And it's a
also,
bigger group, but they are in charge of people, they supervise people, they are NCOSCs of sections, right? So they are, for the most part, I would say, leaders, right? And it's a
well,
bigger
they're thrust
pool.
into that position doesn't necessarily make you good leaders.
Agree. But I'm not arguing semantics where you're saying